Hey, we're live. You see that?
Hello, how are you?
I'm not Ironhead. Whatever. I'm fake Ironhead. I'm fake Goon.
You're the head.
I'm the utility infielder of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. I am Chris Bucanani of the obligatory PSU pregame show and podcast. Excited to get TV going this weekend, Goon.
You're powder.
And I am powder.
You're powder.
Yes.
You got a little color this weekend, it looks
yeah,
like. Yeah,
well, I'm working
Must
on
put
it.
outside a little
tired,
bit,
tired of the Nosferatu jokes, for
there
sure.
you go.
How you doing, Goon?
Nosferatu. All right, not bad, Booch. Not bad.
One more week, less than a week.
Dude.
Are you stoked?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
So you and I were talking.
So I did see. Did you see the Pittsburgh press come out the other day, yesterday or the day before, and said, what is with Penn State opening Big Ten games, their Big Ten season, on the road? It's like 11 of the last 13 years we've opened Big Ten on the road. It was really odd. And they're like, last year was supposed to be Northwestern at home, I believe, but that got scrapped. So it was like going to catch up a little bit. Yeah, but it's something weird. It's like 3 home and 11 on the road, and the next 3 are away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, we start at Purdue next year.
Yeah, it's a rather odd anomaly, and they're like, it's like one of those things. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'd rather have more bigger games later in the year at home.
Agreed. Speaking of which, let's make the program a little bit less anomalous. I'm going to switch out my headset for the actual Ironhead.
That quick, huh?
Yeah. You know what?
That's what
I do. I come in.
You know what? I got to get your opinion.
All right,
Please tell me what you said when you walked in here, and I want Ironhead to hear it because I could not believe it. I had a double check on it, and I want to throw up.
Okay. Yeah. So I came in, and I said to Goon, that's out. I'm done. I quit. Let's join the Ivy League. We could probably get Wisconsin to come with us.
Northwestern, Purdue.
Northwestern, for sure. And I think Michigan, those guys are convinced enough that their own poop doesn't stink that we might even convince them after the way Ohio State's been whipping their tail the last several years.
Hold on. Ironhead's getting his order in here.
Quinn Ewers.
640 wins, Jeff. Jesus.
Texas high school quarterback who has never taken a snap.
Who left his high school.
Mm-hmm.
He Randy Pink Floyd did from Dazed and Confused. He did not play his senior year in high school. Ironhead, the kid from Texas who moved to Columbus to skip the senior year in high school because he figured he could cash in as a high school senior more if he went to school earlier. Well,
only 1.4 mil. That's it. That's to start out with a cool 1.4 mil.
So,
but you know what? Hey, look, it's neat that our guys can do some autograph signings and get free hamburgers.
Yes.
So cool.
We give a free bay fry out from CC Peppers every once in a while.
Sweet. Yeah,
I remember, we used to play for the Unimart hot dog player of the game.
Free grilled stickies.
Absolutely.
All the grilled stickies you can eat.
Everything you can handle, man.
We'll be fine. We'll absolutely be able to compete with these teams that are paying their freshman quarterbacks who have not done jack squat.
$1.4 million, who's 17 years old.
I don't know where
his
the
mom and dad had to sign the contract.
Eccentric millionaires are who graduated from Penn State, but guys, come on. You're killing me here.
Don't put it on them.
I'm putting it on them. I'm putting it on the crazy millionaires.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. I can't even believe that Marky Mark has a car dealership in Columbus. I didn't know that. Did you see that one?
Yes.
Mark Wahlberg gave the one to the
sure. Free cars, whatever. I mean, look, I'm not kidding in a way. I'm only half joking. Like, there needs to be some grown up in the room who looks at this and says, look, we don't – clearly the courts are making it very obvious that we're not going to come in and restrict the earning power of the athletes, but it's a problem for the sport that it is getting so wildly unbalanced. Like, it was unbalanced before, and now it's like 10 times worse.
This was going to happen.
And we're 3 months into this.
I feel like a Navy SEAL hanging out in Kabul a month ago saying, hey, by the way, this isn't going to turn out well. I'm just going to say this.
All right, I'm going to let Ironhead jump in here. Thanks, Kim.
I mean, just ridiculous. First of all, the kid pisses me off leaving his high school.
$1.5 million.
Well, I mean, for $1.5 million, I don't blame him now, but I just couldn't believe, like, you're losing your experience. It's like the old man used to say when guys used to, they would come into school early. They would miss their final year of their spring semester of senior year in high school. The old man used to say he didn't like when guys did that because he didn't feel like they were getting that that high school experience and that like stuff that you remember the rest of your life.
And here's the thing: this is always going to be the fine line, in my mind at least, because I don't think that's necessarily true across the board. I think there are some kids that listen. It's but I think they are the exception, right? You don't want that to become the rule, but it's just like it's across the board for me. Right? Like, I think that senior year in high school, and listen, I had, as I've talked about probably way too often over the years on the air, I had what I consider to be an idyllic childhood. I mean, it really, like, my memories, and listen, I'm not going to tell you every day was just nothing but sunshine, but man, it was, I had a great family support at home. We had a neighborhood where we never felt unsafe, and we're out running around with neighborhood kids, and we were biking, we were playing sports, pickup games all the time, and all of that stuff. And listen, it's funny. We just had a discussion with my wife and a friend of ours on our 35th high school reunion is coming up next summer. And I'm excited about it. I like getting together with, and I stay in touch with a good number of people from our high school class. And, we have a friend who's like, yeah, there's a couple of people that I kind of stay in touch with, but I have zero interest in ever going to my reunion. And I'm like, we were overall a pretty close class in high school. And again, I have a lot of people, and listen, I mean, I went here and I stayed in the hometown area. So, I mean, I get that's part of it, but I mean, I stay in touch with a good number of folks who are out of town, who have moved on from this area, but they're excited about coming back for the reunion. So part of it is, listen, I enjoyed the heck out of my senior year in high school and enjoyed the heck out of my college years, maybe a little too much, but enjoyed it very, very much. And so that's part of it. Is I think those are, for me, those are wonderful memories, wonderful experiences. Now, that being said, I was never a prodigy in anything, right? I mean, if you are a gifted musician and you have that passion, go pursue it. I mean, that's what you want to do, and you perceive high school as a waste of time and whatever. I mean, so there are exceptions to all of this, and it's the same thing. I've talked with David Taylor a few times about he pretty early in life got dialed in on wrestling, because I had a great experience trying all kinds of different sports, playing all kinds of different things up through junior high school, and I thought that that helped me overall. But David knew very early that, that wrestling was his passion. I mean, he's talked about it many times. He dreamed at a very early age, 7, 8 years old, man, I want to be an Olympic champion.
Sure.
Well, and again, it wasn't his parents saying, hey, we think this was truly this kid saying, man, this is awesome. I love this sport. And obviously had some athletic gifts for it as well. And so, yeah, it made sense for him to pursue it. And this is a guy that never got burned out. I mean, he's 30 years old now, and he's still not burned out on the sport. And he's been doing it pretty much year round from the time he was 7. Well, that's the exception, right? Like, there aren't a lot of people that are that driven and find that passion and skill set at an early age that, yeah, this is what I want to pursue my life doing.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, I think, yes, getting different experiences with different sports. And I think in high school, getting the opportunity to finish out that high school year, generally speaking, I think that is all good, worthwhile stuff. But I'm always leery with any of this stuff of, hey, definitively, this is how you should do it. Because there are kids that are having miserable high school experiences and know what they want to do and want to get to that next level, and they're not having fun in high school. They're not getting anything out of it, and they will be successful. And again, I'm not just talking athletics here. I'm talking all kinds of things where it's like, no, let me go get started. I'm not enjoying high school. This isn't where I want to be. I know what I want to do. Let me get the hell out of here and start pursuing it. So I'm always leery of the, yes, everybody should do this, because not everybody should. We got completely different but related. It's just like it's driving me crazy with the vaccine stuff right now, where it's, the vaccine is safe. Well, for most people, I do believe that's true. I think it is safe and effective for most of us. But there are people with conditions, and there are doctors who know this, by the way. I have a friend who's doctor and will not publicly, will not sign off on anything saying, nope, I don't want him to have the vaccine, but is telling him, do not get the vaccine. But will not sign off on it because he's worried about what it will do for him in his practice, which is another story altogether. But again, generally speaking, yes, I think the vaccine is good. I think most people should be getting it. But no, I don't think it's good for everybody. I think there are reasons, very legitimate reasons, that some people should not be getting it. And it is not safe for some people, given what, whatever their pre-existing conditions may be. So I just with anything in our society, I don't like everybody should do this or everybody needs to do this, because that's not the case. Now, do I generally think, yes, most people should be staying in high school, getting that senior year experience, and then transitioning? Absolutely. I do think, generally speaking,
to finish,
yes.
My point is, I could not believe that the kid would do that to his high school teammates and this and that. And, I stress what Joe would have said.
Yeah.
But in no way, shape, or effing form did I ever think that he would be getting $1.4 million on his first contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, that's what it's making me and Booch ill. Like, he has never even put a uniform on at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Hasn't even gone to a practice, right? He can't practice in the fall. He's still, right? Is he there yet? I don't even know what the hell the story is. I mean, he moved up to Columbus, so yeah, he already is there. He's a half a year early. That's just crazy. He got a $1.4 million deal. That's just blows my mind. I didn't think that was even I didn't know that kind of money was on the table. But good for him. I mean, I will never fault the kid if it's something like that. Now, if it's a podunk kid who thinks he's going to get that and he doesn't get it, that's what you got to worry about. Well,
and that is, and this is one of the issues. And again, I don't know how you go about addressing it. Well, it's not only that, but now, so if you're, to Booch's point, if you're Penn State or, pick Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, any of the other big boys. I mean, do you look at this and say, because I suspect what's going to happen is most of these programs are going to look at this and say, okay, we got to pony up, instead of, hey, how about we hold the line here, right? Because it's what happens with the salaries in professional sports, right? Somebody throws open the wallet,
Pandora's
and pays
box was open.
The home run hitter or the star quarterback or whatever, and now everybody else, I mean, you have to follow suit at that level. And I suspect that's going to be the feeling here is, okay, now we know if we want to go after the 5-star recruits, we've got to get our group of business leaders in our area or whatever, the people that we're working with, we've got to figure out how to get this type of money available for the guys that we want to get into our program. And I don't know. I'm with you that I don't like it. I'm also,
I don't blame the guys. Just that I want that out there.
I'm also not sure at the end of the day that it's as awful a thing as many of us are thinking it is right now.
Well, I'm thinking it's awful because not everybody's getting it. You know me. I mean,
Yeah,
the
but
big
that's-
uglies up front, they're not going to get what their due is. I mean, it took them how many decades to get their due in the NFL with salary?
Oh, yeah.
It took the the Charles Haleys of the world destroying quarterbacks to, okay, well, LT is out there. We need to get the big star left tackle. We had to pay him a lot of money, and that's where it comes from. And it took how long for that to happen?
Yeah.
So, it's just again the slippery slope that we're on with that, and I mean, I guess I'm more just completely in awe and shock that.
But it's
what
what
kind
the
of
market,
business person are you?
Well, I hear you.
I really got faith in this kid. You don't know anything about this kid.
I hear you completely. But at the same time,
Crazy,
again,
man.
if somebody wants to do it, and it's the same thing. I forget if we might have had this discussion before, but I've made, because to your point with the offensive lineman, I have a cousin who is truly an amazingly gifted jazz musician, and it drives him crazy listening to some of the pop music. And he's like, these people don't know how to sing. The music, like the actual ability to play, isn't there. And these folks are making millions. And for now, he's doing okay now. But I mean, it was many, many years of just grinding it out. That and even now, I mean, he's not on. We're not talking multi-millionaire status here, and it's one of those things. But I mean, it's what the market will bear, and the market is telling you, yeah, if you're a pop singer and you got a catchy tune, we're paying you this, even if there's a much more gifted musician who is in a genre that isn't attracting that type of money, classical music or jazz or whatever it might be. And is it fair? I don't. Fair is kind of a funny term too, but the thing that's a little different in football, right, is that the quarterback or that star receiver, they cannot have that success without the big guys up front. Like the pop musician can go out and have, I mean, there's got to be a team behind it, right? But you don't need the jazz musician or in football. I mean, again, go play quarterback with a lousy offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how skilled you are. Let me know how that works out for you, because it doesn't, right? I mean, we talk about it all the time. Football is the ultimate team game. And listen, that's why at the NFL level, right, most, if not all of your star quarterbacks, right, take care of those guys up front. How many stories have you heard? I mean, Tom Brady will take his offensive line out regularly to high, end dinners, buy them watches, buy whatever. I mean, and that's, again, it's most of those high-end quarterbacks are doing that for their O linemen. Because there is that recognition.
Bill O'Brien's story about Brady's gift to them?
No.
He was his OC, coach and stuff like that. He walked in, he had all the quarterbacks and all the O linemen. He gave him man Uggs boots. And, Bill was like, what? The hell are these things? And just like put them in the back of the car. His wife was like, they're like $300 boots. And Bill's like, I will never wear those things in my life. Just the fact that Bill O'Brien and O linemen are wearing Ugg boots is hilarious.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's great stuff. But that is what so there is a recognition there. And listen, it will be interesting to see as this thing evolves or devolves, however you want to look at it, right? I mean, if you are one of those star players and you're getting that type of money, how much of an understanding do you have? And hey, okay, yep, I'm getting the 1.4 million, but I know
I'm 17.
For me to take that next step, I need protection. I need help from the guys, and how much does that love get spread around financially? And I don't know. I mean, you're certainly not under any obligation, but and this is the other thing that I think is just concerning. And again, I don't know. At the end of the day, if you are and we've talked about, the one team on a campus may resent another team for whatever, or an athlete on one program resenting, some athletes in another program. But the ultimate betrayal, and how are you ever going to know, right? It's, you go back to that in the movie, Remember the Titans, right? The one guy lets the defender in. Well, if I'm the left tackle and this quarterback is pissing me off, and I know this guy, right? I mean, if you carry this out, and how are you ever going to definitively know, right? But can you see the scenario where that develops? Because I can. Because if this guy's making $2 million and he's not, he's and it's all ego back here. I mean, I can see the situation where it's like, you know what, screw it. I'm out here busting my tail to help this guy, and I'm getting no love back, and nobody else is showing me appreciation.
Scary stuff.
So
the scenarios.
Oh yeah,
I know one scenario, Ironhead.
Yeah.
At 11:55 Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Let the good times roll, my friend.
So, Ball State Saturday.
Yeah.
Did I give you the date? The amount of days since the last tailgate?
You did. I don't remember what it was.
651.
But... Yeah.
It's too long in between tailgates. Too long.
Crazy long.
Too long.
Wouldn't have seemed possible, right?
Right.
I mean, there was a time where that just would not. And it wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, here we are.
So,
game week 2021, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't know. I tend to be the optimist anyway, but the closer we get, the better feeling I'm having about this. There is a quiet confidence, and I'm not saying Wisconsin's not confident and that this isn't a team, but man, I just and you've talked about it a couple of times. I really do love the approach and what I think this team is feeling.
Business, man.
And yes, in the way this program right now, I think is dialed in. And again, the proof will be in the pudding here over the coming month. We'll see how it all plays out. But
I know they named the captains yesterday, and one of them, I think Johan Dotson had something to say today. He goes, that team you saw last year, that wasn't us. We got to get back to being us. And I was like, damn right, man. I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Very much like hearing that.
And again, words are cheap. You can say that, right? And we've had teams and individuals and programs over the years talk the talk and then get out there and not back it up. But
and be Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, but it does. I don't know. I have a good feeling about this team and this opening game. I really do. I just I like the matchups. I like the
game week.
And we've talked about it. Penn State is young in some spots, but it's also it is veteran in some real key spots, quarterback chief among them. And broken record here, but to me, to a very large degree, this season goes as Sean Clifford goes. And I'm not putting it all on him. Again, it's the ultimate team sport, and there's a lot of things that have to come together. But to me, the biggest key component here, and for me, I think the biggest uncertainty and the biggest unknown, I don't have a strong feeling yet on what I think Sean Clifford's ceiling is. And I don't know, I don't know if it's miles above last year, or if that was, what we saw toward the end is about where he can get to. I genuinely don't know. But if he can push through and get to that next level, right,
yes.
And take care of the football, man, I do think everything else, about everything else is in place for this to be a really special team that could make a really special run.
I predicted a college bowl playoff appearance for the Nittany Kittens this year, to be honest with you. I really do. I mean, I think that Sean realized, if he just watches his game from last year, he can't not sit there and say, Jesus, I'm trying to do too freaking much. Yeah, I need to just chill out, get my reads, trust my reads, and then go with it, and stop trying to do too much. And I think that he will learn from that, those last year's tapes, and you'd be amazed that your fourth and fifth year of college football. It's now put up or shut up time, and a lot of guys can buckle down, and it's old hat to them. You're not going to do anything that you haven't been asked to do in the last 3 years, so nothing's going to be new to them. So I think that's why I think it's be a special season. I really do, and I go back to I've been saying it all summer. I just think that James was pretty incensed by the whole, last season, losing some Pennsylvania recruits the last 2 years. I mean, look what happens when they put their minds to recruiting. They get really mad at it, and look what they go and do. They go and recruit the top recruiting class in the country. So I think he's doing the same damn thing with the team right now. And I think that these guys are working, and I just again go back to I have a really, really, really good feeling about this squad.
And to take my optimism to too great of an extreme, let me throw this one out to you, because I genuinely buy it, but I could see where others would be scoffing. I actually think that this team going on the road for this first game is a good thing, and I get that Wisconsin is arguably certainly one of the toughest three places, and you might argue it's the toughest place to play in the Big Ten. I mean, obviously Penn State would be up there, Ohio State just because of the team in the atmosphere, and I think Iowa, right?
I never played Wisconsin. I coached there. I never actually had to play there.
But I think because of everything that has taken place and how long it's been since the tailgating and all of that, I think if it was a home game, the concern for me, some pressure too, but I just think overhype. Like during the course of the week, I think, and listen, do I think the kids in classes are talking about this game and asking the players about it regardless of where it's at? Yes. But I would worry about just getting too much
I'm with you.
energy
I
at the beginning and
I had this
out.
thought last week.
And I like the fact that they're on the road. I like it from that chemistry standpoint. I've seen it many times over the years. I do think those road games in any sport, it helps teams come together and galvanize, right? It's just you guys, and you don't have the distractions on that Friday night. And I know they get away anyway on Friday night, but it's different when you're on the road. It is really just you guys and the team. And just from that focus standpoint, I like it. I like the fact that they're on the road.
I go back to 2012 with Bill O'Brien and the 2012 team against Ohio. And they got off those buses 4 hours before the game, and they were so hyped up. Now, if we're playing this coming Saturday against Wisconsin at home, 110,000 people outside, the exact same thing would happen, in my opinion. You make a great freaking point.
No,
Ironhead. I throw credit around like manhole covers, buddy. That was a pretty damn good point. You're right, man. There's a lot of pressure on these guys to go out. It's gonna be on Wisconsin. It's their first time in front of their fans in 2 years, excuse me. They're gonna be all hyped up, and it's gonna be hot out there. Let them wear themselves out. Good damn point. And we gotta watch ourselves at Ball State doing that exact thing.
Yes,
and
I do think
getting too hyped up too fast.
Yep.
Sort of like me in the tailgate.
Yes,
I don't need to be. I don't need to be crocked at 8:28 in the morning.
You got to pace yourself. It's all about
only 2 Bloody Marys an hour. Only 2.
Take a break here. Bloody Mary over here. We'll be back with more of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right after this.
Lion Country Kia is offering exceptional deals on your new Kia during Kia's Command the Season event.
We have a nice selection on the 2021 Kia Sportage with various options and prices as low as $26,800, saving you $3,000. Or if you demand big power and towing capacity, slip into one of the 2021 Kia Sorrentos available on our lot, starting at $32,680.
Discover why Kia drivers throughout the area come to Lion Country Kia or visit online at lioncountrykia.com.
Quaker Steak and Lube is throwing open the garage doors and setting up the umbrellas. It's patio season. Come enjoy great food, drinks, and fun in the sun. There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube, but we're really amping up our event calendars for our favorite time of year. Visit thelube.com to find out what's happening at your local lube this season. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, or late night, indoors or outside, at Quaker Steak and Lube, you'll always find big flavors, friendly faces, and lots of fun.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickles Tap Room, we say,
tell him Johnny sent you.
And remember,
And we welcome you back into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. It is game week here in Happy Valley, Penn State, Wisconsin, noon on Saturday at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. And the excitement and anticipation is growing. It is going to be at a fever pitch. And listen, even on the road, I mean, I'm not saying this team can't get too amped up, but I think there is enough veteran leadership, again, in those right spots that they're going to kind of keep this thing on an even keel on Saturday. And I don't know. I'm revved up for it. I think it is as good a game as there is on the schedule here.
Pretty good games this weekend.
It's going to be a fun opening. Well, full opening weekend. I realize there were some games last weekend, but I'm excited to see kind of how this thing plays out. By the way, kudos to you
I wasn't here, but
on Illinois and Nebraska. I was not not as shocked as I think Booch was at the result. I will say I do think it is one of those things because I think we're both still on board, and I think Booch is too, that Scott Frost is a good coach. Yeah. But sometimes good coaches, right? I mean, Bill Belichick was a good coach when he was with the Browns, right? Like, it wasn't like he just suddenly, I think you use your experiences and all of that, but sometimes, good coaches, good players in the wrong situation. And we've seen, Jerome Bettis when he was with the Rams. I mean, the numbers were good, but he got with the Steelers, right organization, and everything clicked. And it's been a number. I mean, Jerome just, for some reason, flew into my mind. But we've seen plenty of athletes, right, and coaches who didn't have success well, Pete Carroll, right? I mean, in the NFL, it's like, well, no, he's not an NFL coach. What are the Seahawks doing? Well, he ends up being a pretty good NFL coach.
Nick Saban.
Well, yeah, that's
Michigan
another
State, Toledo.
Yeah.
So,
I still think
Dolphins,
Scott Frost, I think there's a number of reasons for the lack of success in Nebraska. That being said, it does feel like they need to move on from him now, and he needs to move on. I don't know where he's going to land, and I don't know what Nebraska does next, because to me, the biggest takeaway here is that Nebraska fans, and I don't think they will, but they need to adjust the expectations, right? Like, they are not. And I don't think the move to the Big Ten has helped them. We've talked about this, but it did not help them the way it helped like a Penn State on the recruiting front. And listen, it both helped and hurt Penn State at the time, right? I mean, I do think it opened the door for I know it opened the door more so for the Michigans and the Ohio States to come into Pennsylvania and the neighboring states and get talent out. But it also did open the door for Penn State to go into those areas with a little more
and all of our
cachet.
sports and all of our sports were now high-end, high-priced 10 scholarship type of things. They were
all of that
on the thin end of that before. So, I mean, I don't even know if we talked about it, but you know how like they self-reported those violations?
Yes.
I personally think that's from the inside. I think they want to get rid. We did talk about it.
Yeah.
And I just think that, that's $20 million buyout if they have with cause and stuff like that. And then somebody said during the broadcast the other day, and said, you know what those things are? They was like driving on a speeding ticket is what they're trying to get them for these violations. And you're just like, and they're going to try to run Scott Frost out of and then for who? Like, who are they going to bring in? Like, that is the one great thing that you've brought to my world is, okay, That's great. You want to get rid of him. Who are you going to bring in that brings a better? I don't know.
And that's so. Here's my question. And listen, I think Nebraska will find a good coach. Yes, but do I think it's going to be a bigger name than what Scott Frost was at the time? I mean, Scott Frost, if you don't remember, that he was
bad boy, man.
By far. I don't think there was anybody close that year in terms of the hot coaching prospect that everybody was talking about, right? And he had the Nebraska, played there, understood the heritage and all of that.
When they introduced him, and all the old players came out of the
it was. So I just don't know. I don't know that there is another name that. Two parts here. I don't know that there is another coach that is looking at Nebraska as a great opportunity. Right? Scott Frost was in a great situation. He really was at Central Florida, but he was looking at Nebraska as, listen, this is my dream job, and this is an opportunity I can't turn down. I don't know, even for Nebraska alums right now, and I don't know, I'm sure there's some out there that are in the coaching ranks. I'm not immediately thinking of anybody, but even with Nebraska alums, I'm not sure you're looking at Nebraska, right? When you're looking at the overall college football landscape, I don't know that Nebraska is like a dream destination in any way, shape, or form. It's not one of the marquee names now, right? Certainly in the Big Ten. It's not Ohio State. It's not even Michigan, which I'm not sure Michigan's Michigan anymore. But yeah, I think right now Nebraska's maybe the 7th, 8th biggest name in football in the Big Ten, right? Penn State clearly ahead of it right now in terms of name recognition and what have you done for me lately. Ohio State obviously miles above. But I think Michigan's still above, and Wisconsin and Iowa, right, at the very least. And I think I would make a pretty strong argument right now. Michigan State, even with the recent issues, certainly overall name recognition and everything it has going for it. And I think Minnesota right now would be making a pretty strong argument with what it has going on with PJ Fleck. That's one side. The other side is so from a fan base standpoint, though, you're going to be under pressure pretty much right away to win in a place that hasn't won big in a while, and you're going to know. You're looking at the jobs that are out there. It's like, well, can I take this one where getting 9 or 10 wins would be significant, and this fan base gets rid of coaches who get 9 wins on a consistent basis.
And it's an ugly thought going in my head.
Like what is appealing about that Nebraska job right now? It's not the huge money, right? They're going to pay well, but they're not paying what the top 10 programs
I want to hear Bucci's reaction to this. And that is, it's probably going to be a destination place for a guy who needs to rebound from a pretty horrendous NFL coaching career from Penn State. Now the offensive coordinator with the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's a place like Bill O'Brien could go there. He would bring the name. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, right. I'm sitting here like
I think he's NFL or bust going from Bama. I don't think he wants
at Cincinnati, and he's going to say Cincinnati or Nebraska. 5 years ago, the answer was an easy answer. Now you sit there and got to go. I got to stay with Cincinnati. Even if PJ Fleck at Minnesota, does he get recruited to go to Nebraska? And he says, I'm okay. I'm all right here with Minnesota. You're like, wow. And you think about that. Makes you a little sick to your stomach thinking about that.
Landing spot for Clay Helton after
yeah.
USC hires Urban
I think. There you go. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, Nebraska, I think, will go out and get a good coach. But again, I think they've had three or four good coaches since Osborne left, and they just they're not satisfied.
The problem is they've had this Martinez guy for 61 years. I'm telling you, that Martinez guy played for Tom Osborne.
I'm telling you.
He played for Osborne, his brother. There's like 17 of them. I'm not lying to you. They showed him warming up the other day. I said, "Are you kidding me?" There's a Martinez.
They might need
still
Super
on
Dave
team.
Osborne to be the next head coach.
Unbelievable. I could not believe it. I mean, how many? It's the second or third Martinez brother to be quarterback there.
I think.
Oh man, it's unbelievable. And they both played 7 years. My goodness gracious, he was a black shirt. He played with one bar in his mouth. Played with Johnny Rogers. Now, I just couldn't believe that. But yeah, and then I don't know. I mean, I got to say this: Brett Bielema's a hell of a coach. Maybe we're not giving Illinois enough credit. Their defense was smoking in their day, man. Their defense was balling pretty good.
Yeah, I will be. It's going to be interesting to see how Illinois. I think Bielema will get them there. I'm not sure they have enough talent there to be.
It's a step
competitive
up for him.
with the top three in that division.
That's
right
his
now.
working his way back into a top job.
But yeah, no, I think.
Where's another guy? I mean, Bielema might.
Do you think he would look at Nebraska?
He's a Southern Illinois guy who played at Iowa, so he understands that community. You know, he's got some ties in the South right now with the Arkansas
that Nebraska. Here's the thing, right now, though, I'm not sure Nebraska would match what Illinois would go for just money. And if I'm right about that, I'm not 100% sure I am. But why would you leave? Illinois is going to be thrilled with a 9-win season, right? I mean, that fan base will be ready to coronate them if they go 9-3, right? Again, at Nebraska, you go 9-3 for a couple of years in a row, and they're ready to boot you.
Yeah,
like they are thinking that they should be national title contenders at least once every. I was going to say 5 years, but I think that fan base thinks it should be once every 3 years or something.
I think our fan base expects something every 5 years. That's our fan base.
Yeah,
and I think that's a logical thing because they've had good recruiting classes, great facilities. You're in Nebraska. You've done nothing recruiting-wise for 4 years. You can't have that expectation.
Well, and I guess that's where I keep coming back to. I'm not sure who it is that comes in there and widens significantly.
Mark Mangini.
Which, I mean, they have to do, right? Like they've got to recruit. That they have to establish a base somewhere, like either Texas or Florida, which, again, if you're Nebraska, how are you getting in those and – reaping big benefits. I mean, you might go in and get a kid here or there, but I'm saying they've got to somewhere they have to open up a pathway that, hey, yeah, we know we're going to get 10, 11 kids out of it. It doesn't have to be one state, but I mean, but where, there's just not enough high-end talent in Nebraska, right? And you can't develop the walk-ons the way they once could. With the monetary situation being what it is right now,
well,
and I don't know
BYU's doing it.
I don't know how you. I mean, I really don't know how they make the inroads that they need to on the recruiting front. If Scott Frost isn't able to do it, I'm just not. I'm really not sure who it is, and maybe there's somebody out there. I mean, there's always.
You know what he's talking about with the walk-on deal? You know what he's talking about, though? Yeah. Okay. I always thought that was complete crap.
What, Nebraska's walk-on program?
Yeah. Because they're having the state of Nebraska taxpayers pay for their kids to go to school, and it's an extra 25 scholarships.
Yeah.
That's unfair.
Well, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, but we're in an era where unfairness is going to rule the day.
So I do want to bring this up to you before we get off the air.
All right.
The Bishop Sycamore High School program.
Bishop Sycamores.
Yeah, out of Columbus, Ohio. So they get a hold of ESPN and say, hey, we got a ton of Division I guys here up in Columbus. We want to play IMG Academy. So they're like, all right, we're going to put you on ESPN. They're not even a freaking high school. Everything was just made up. And it was like a bunch of ex-JUCO players on a team.
Really?
It was like 25, 30 guys who work out of the facility outside somewhere in Columbus, Ohio. Their website is completely trash, blank. Their mailing address is a local rec hall where some lady answered the phone and said, well, yeah, there's a bunch of guys who work out here and this and that. And they had played Stowe Rocks on Thursday night and then played Saturday morning.
No kidding.
And people were like, they got to the game and the announcers were like, They about when it was 30-0 and with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, they were like, something's wrong here. Like, something's wrong here. And they started asking questions. These are guys on the air.
Wow.
And they were asking, like, this just doesn't seem right. And that guy does not look like he's 17 years old. And they were getting smoked.
Where were these guys when the Little League World Series was going on?
Getting destroyed. So the four-letter network takes a man's word for it that they have a bunch of blue chip players, and they say, okay, we're going to put you on television at noon on our main station on the opening weekend of football. Let's not do any research whatsoever. So way to go, four-letter network yet again. Unbelievable.
Wow, that is unbelievable. Especially in this day and age where you would think stuff is getting vetted, right?
Are you doing any kind of
for anything anymore?
And the coach was like, "We never got a roster, we never got a depth chart. We just figured they were just trying to play coy and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, they're trying to play coy because there's 21 guys, they're 19 and 20-year-olds." And it was like they were wrapped around, and their education was they were a charter school, but they were an online charter school. But they're literally JUCO kids that were playing a high school team, and they got absolutely rocked. Does that give you any indication of how good IMG is? And then people were like, they wanted to stop the game midway through the game because it was a health and safety issue. Way to go, four letters. Way to go.
Well, adding to the credibility that is
absolutely
for that particular network.
Ooh, baby. But we got our previews on your season preview, our game preview Thursday, Ironhead.
Yep. Yeah, we'll delve a little more into it. I do.
Boots called me Mike the Mailman today. I'm a little upset, but he's absolutely right. I see the world through blue and white glasses. You know that. I already got us 12-1 or 11-1 going to the college football playoffs, winning the Big Ten because Ohio State's going to lose 2 in conference games.
Yeah,
sure.
It's going to happen.
Sure. They're not going to lose us. They're going to beat us, but they're going to lose 2.
2 other games?
Sure. Yep.
I mean, you never know. It's a crazy mixed up world out there. And
I know. I just threw it out there.
Things happen, I guess.
How could be 12-1? We're going to slip up once.
I'm not sure I see Ohio State. If Penn State doesn't, I'm not sure I see 2 other losses.
Michigan can clip them late. Just throw the records
out.
That.
Yeah, Harbaugh. The Harbaugh watch is going to be interesting this season too, because that's another program where listen, I mean, Michigan could go out and make a splash, and more so than Nebraska, but I'm not. Again, Harbaugh from a name, reputation, all of that standpoint. And listen, he knows how to coach, right? Like, I mean, he didn't forget how to coach when he left the NFL and went to Michigan. So if you're Michigan, again, same thing. Yeah, I mean, I get it if they have, even 9-3 or worse, which I think is a virtual certainty in this season. I mean, I get wanting to move on and even moving on.
Yep.
But who is it that you're going to bring in that you are really confident is going to get you
I don't think the hot seat's that hot
where you're beating Ohio State regularly or even occasionally and contending for Big Ten titles on a regular basis?
That's what I feel. I feel that when he went from $9 to $4 million salary and said, I'm going to put up, you don't need to put all this money into me. He pretty much saved his job for a year, maybe 2 by doing that, but he has something to prove. So, again, he has proved. Go watch that Stanford game a couple years ago when they won the Rose Bowl. I mean, that was a dominant team. And you can get that rolling at Michigan. Holy crap. I mean, Michigan, you know me. I don't like them. I have always said they are the most overrated program in the history of sports.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, people say Notre Dame is. I think that Notre Dame is always ranked high, but and they always knock Notre Dame down really, really fast. They love to perch them up and they love to knock them down. But Michigan, they love.
But Notre Dame has had, not national title success, but they've been in the college football playoffs. I mean, they have been. I mean, it's hard to argue that they haven't been successful under Brian Kelly. Now, as successful as some want, maybe not, but
Right.
I mean, again, we get back to expectations and what's reasonable.
You take Alabama out of the last dozen years, how many different national titles do you think people have? It's just like the Alabama period right now. It's like,
well, and that's
Bronze
the
Age.
other thing, because this is all perception too, where because I've heard the argument. Well, yes, Alabama is really good, but it's also that and Clemson's really good, but it's also that college football overall has dropped off. And I'm not sure that that's actually the case. It's just I got into a long discussion on the wrestling front with Cale Sanderson, and the argument was that listen, the other wrestlers in Cale's weight weren't that great during his era. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's, and we'll never actually be able to know, because if you took Cale out, like there were a lot of really good guys there battling in really close
Going up and down in
matches, right? And I mean, Cale was so dominant that it's like, well, yeah, the other guys must not be that good. It was the same thing with David Taylor. Well, they're all but message boards all over the place.
How bitter is your life that you would say something like that?
No, it's not even. I mean, it's a fair discussion, but it is one of those things that it's impossible to know when somebody takes their game to a level. Yeah, I mean, could it be that the same thing was when you read people talking about the Olympics this year? It's like, well, yeah, David Taylor, phenomenal, but he and Yanni were, everybody else was just okay. Well, again, if you took those two out, and you're talking about, we'll see what happens in 3 years, but I think David Taylor is going to go down as one of the all-time greats here in freestyle wrestling for this country. And Yanni already is there for Iran. I mean, he's already established himself as a legendary figure in the sport. So, yes, those two have separated themselves from the field, but does that mean the field isn't that strong, or that these two are just that special? And there's no way. I mean, you can make the argument either way, but you can't ever definitively say that either way, because it is what it is, and it's what happens when somebody becomes dominant. It's like, well, yeah, the other guys, yeah, but look who he's beating. Well, yeah, but if you took him out of the equation, right, you'd be talking about, and I think you're right. If you take Alabama, certainly if you take Alabama and Clemson out of the equation, I mean, how great are we talking about all of these other programs being over the last decade?
Yeah. Ohio State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame,
Georgia
would have a shot. LSU would have another couple shots.
Yeah.
A&M, Penn State would have had a shot.
Yeah.
It's just like saying, in what you're saying, well, 85 wasn't a great year for the NFL, but the Bears were 15-1. I'm like, or 72 wasn't that good. Doesn't matter. You're still the greatest. You're still 72. You're still 16-0.
Yeah, and again, everything's relative, and it's hard to know. Well, is it because these guys are that great that everybody else is looking that bad, it's could very likely be a combination, right? That these guys are that great, or these individuals are that great, and yes, it might be the year where there are weight class that, because people were vacating, isn't as strong as what some of the other weight classes might be, or some of the other conferences or divisions or whatever. All right. Well, we covered a lot of nonsense yet again. We will
651 days
talk much more in depth about the matchup between the Nittany Lions and the Badgers on Thursday's program, and give you our sure to go wrong predictions on Thursday as well. What I probably need to do, just to help James Franklin and the boys out, is Wisconsin big.
Heavy.
I don't see how Penn State has a chance. It looks to me like Badgers 56-7. Because if I predict that, it's a virtual guarantee that Penn State will win by 3 touchdowns or more. So I may have to
Vegas right now.
I may have to consider.
We figured it out.
Trying to outsmart myself.
We figured out the
really
algorithm.
Shouldn't be that difficult.
Ironhead is the algorithm. Who do you like, Ironhead? Other way.
got to go the other way. Steelers 0-17 coming up. I see no hope for the Steelers whatsoever.
Well, I'm cool.
We will be back on Thursday and talk much more about the Nittany Lions and the Badgers then. Until then, be good and be safe.
Lion Country Kia is offering exceptional deals on your new Kia during Kia's Command the Season event.
We have a nice selection on the 2021 Kia Sportage with various options and prices as low as $26,800, saving you $3,000. Or if you demand big power and towing capacity, slip into one of the 2021 Kia Sorentos available on our lot, starting at $32,680.
Discover why Kia drivers throughout the area come to Lion Country Kia or visit online at lioncountrykia.com.
Quaker Steak and Lube is throwing open the garage doors and setting up the umbrellas. It's patio season. Come enjoy great food, drinks, and fun in the sun. There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube, but we're really amping up our event calendars for our favorite time of year. Visit thelube.com to find out what's happening at your local lube this season. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, or late night, indoors or outside, at Quaker Steak and Lube, you'll always find big flavors, friendly faces, and lots of fun.
Hi, Johnny Broom here. If you're in the market for a new Hyundai or a pre-owned car, truck, van, or SUV, nobody beats a Blaze Alexander deal. But don't take my word for it.
Hey, Goon says tell him Johnny sent you.
Hey, tell him Johnny sent ya.
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Wait, tell him Juan or tell him Johnny sent you?
Tell him Johnny sent you.
Here at Bill Pickle's Tap Room, we say,
Tell him Johnny sent you.
And remember,